also a very popular pick right now.
G2 Esports beginning to eat into their bonus time. As said, these are critical games for G2 and Detonation. A single win for G2 puts them forward. 2 wins for Detonation is what they need to push them towards day number 2. G2 Esports and Detonation both do not want to make any missteps in their draft, and G2, after much deliberation, have decided upon that Vox that you were talking about, Zeke.
Yeah, I think this is a very good choice for G2 right now. But this really comes down to what they want to choose as their last pick. I believe a Batiste here would actually be fairly effective, potentially even a Taka, just to put more pressure onto that Blackfeather, especially if Detonation decides to go for that Crystal Blackfeather. However, there are a lot of options on the table still for G2. Potentially even a Rona coming out. The Rhyme, okay.
Talk to me about the Rhyme, Zeke. Why might that be effective here?
The Rhyme actually prevents Detonation from going for a weapon Blackfeather, which is actually ideal for them because they don't really want to fight a weapon Blackfeather with that Vox. If weapon Blackfeather decides to jump in onto Vox and Rhyme's right there's nothing that Blackfeather is going to be able to do to finish off that kill. But this basically forces Detonation into playing that Crystal Blackfeather, which they may or may not be prepared for.
Interesting. Detonation has one final pick to lock in here. It's the Silver Bullet pick. What is the thing they need to deal with G2 Esports composition? Zeke, if you had to pick any hero here, what would it be?
This could actually be a Taka pick. If they went for Crystal Taka with a weapon Blackfeather, even if Rhyme was there, they could still explode Vox. And it depends on how aggressive Detonation wants to play, but we've seen them time and time again. They play both aggressively or very passively, depending on their opponents.
Yeah, definitely a very flexible team. Keep in mind, guys, that both of these teams fighting for the prides of their regions. Europe especially, historically, has had a real tough time in international competition. They wowed the crowds moments ago when they were able to take down Kraken in one of their games.
Okay.
Detonation, though, they're bringing out a pedal here. There's going to be some spontaneous detonation, combustion action going on. How is this going to function into G2 Esports composition?
This is actually a very interesting pickup. I don't completely agree with picking the pedal right here because I actually believe that having a little bit more aggression, especially against that Vox, where G2 is very well known for it being hyper carries with that Vox. They're going to go double Tyrants, they're going to get the Poison Shield, they're going to get the Breaking Point, and it's just going to do absolutely huge amounts of damage. But with this pedal pick, it really means that Detonation is trying to go for that early game closeout. They really need to get a lot of aggression down early on, and especially against a Rhyme, it's not a bad pickup, but they're really relying on the fact that they can close the game out earlier.
I do think it's going to be very much about whether that momentum actually sticks. We've seen Rhyme come out from G2 in the past, something they're actually pretty comfortable on, very effective with. And also, like you're saying, their Vox play, I'm pretty concerned for Petal being able to be effective into that Vox later into the game.
Absolutely, especially early game. With the Pulse, Vox is going to get a bunch of resonance bounces off onto those Petal minions, and it is going to cause a little bit of problems for Detonation. However, looking at these two team compositions, I actually think it really comes down to how will Detonation play early game. Will they be able to get an advantage? And if they do, fantastic. They will be able to roll with that into the mid to late game. But if G2 gets ahead, or if they go even, Detonation is going to have a very, very hard time.
All right, we're on to the fold, ladies and gentlemen. G2 Esports up against Detonation Gaming. G2 in need of a single victory to carry themselves forward at least into day 2. If they win 2 games this weekend, they actually have the opportunity of fighting a tiebreaker against Kraken for that first seed position, something coveted by all of the teams. Detonation, they need to win 2 games back-to-back in this best-of-2 series. A tough task for any team, especially one that's playing up against G2 Esports, a team that just had an incredible performance on the live stage. It's going to be a very exciting game. Both teams, in fact, not making their way up to the lane at all yet. We were talking about early aggression from Detonation, trying to make it happen in the early game with the pedal pick. They certainly are trying to do that, but G2 Esports is not concerned. They are trying to answer in kind. Given the level 2s across both teams, who has the edge here? Real quick, Zekan.
I actually believe that Detonation actually has a little bit of advantage here. Pedal is extremely strong for these early levels. However, G2, they actually did start to him back, but Detonation does not realize that yet. This is actually pretty good opportunity to take out his other tree, which they do, but will G2 retaliate? Because Slimer is still staying. Maybe have to push the off of this tree, or it might be very, very close right there.
Yeah, good effort there by Keanu Nakoa. Interestingly, I think G2 Esports had a good idea of kind of baiting the sticking around and waiting from Detonation, but Hundor played quite slowly and didn't even start to make his way up to lane for quite some time, and allowing Vivicu to actually push that lane in quite hard. Hunter now is going to have to farm under the turret. Can be a little bit dicey. Might begin to snowball a small advantage in favor of Detonation Game.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I do have to point out, though, is at the beginning of the game, Royal actually picked up a minion candy, and being able to push out a wave just a little bit faster gave him a huge advantage when he take down the position.
That's some very good upfront damage coming in from Dark Potato onto Takuchi. With John and Nakoa now beginning to back up here. Something the Detonation needs to be careful of. Although Dark Potato is quite low on energy at this point. He's going to be sped away by the Imperial Sigil.
Yeah, and that's really Ryan's problem in the early game. If he doesn't have the energy to really sustain himself in fights, he will not be that effective. However, if he gets a bit early in his battery, especially if he gets the Eve Harvest, he is going to be extremely hard to take down. But up against the composition of Detonation, even if he does get a little bit more safe early on, Tachuki is still able to put a lot of pressure on him with those Petal Onions.
So far, the aggression from both sides checked pretty effectively by their opponents. No one wanting to overcommit. Again, we've mentioned how critical things are for both of these teams. It all rests on a knife's edge, so no one wanting to make even the slightest of mistakes, really. Takuchi's doing a good job of keeping, a little bit ahead in the farm compared to Dark Potato, though Petal a very effective force in the early game. When is the point at which Detonation has to they've picked something that does want to get rolling early on. At what stage do you have to fully commit to that?
I think the moment that Black Flare hits level 6, or when he hits level 6, they can either go for some very aggressive plays because of those spontaneous combustions from Petal Onions, just for those heals and the damage output. But when Royal hits level 6, the Rose offensive coming out from Black Flare will be extremely hard for him to deal with for the time being.
Very good damage landing on the Potato. He's trying to retreat through the choke. Takuchi is not wanting that to happen, trying to get damage down on the Hunter and Dark Potato here. Kiting away, not doing much damage whilst it happens. D2 Esports are in a tough spot. Petal, see the bounce. A little bit of work done. Might be able to come back in front. Dark Potato, thankfully for him, is able to pick up that Treant. Not stolen away by Takuchi. It would have been disastrous. That heal was direly needed by Dark Potato.
Absolutely. If he lost that right there, it would have just sped him up to that level 6 point, where Detonation would be able to put a lot more pressure under this turret, because D2 Esports, while they do have the Lara Force sustain, it is not that effective. And it will heal to a bit, but here we have no fight.
Very nice wraparound coming in from Detonation, but the on-point misses. That could have been disastrous. Now it's actually the dancing turn on to Vivic Quiz. He's going to have to be very careful backing away there. I like the aggression coming out of Detonation, but if you miss those skill shots, you can get punished for it. And that was really a big window of opportunity for Detonation, having spent their gold at the first jungle rotation to the shop since the jungle intensified, whereas G2 had not done so. That's a lot of damage. He's going to have to pop that flask. Can get healed up by Keanu here. He's going to be trying to get under the turret and manages to make it just barely. Now Takuchi quite far into enemy territory, but he doesn't really mind. Still putting down the pain onto Hundor. Hundor is out of energy. Can't keep jumping around, repositioning very easily. Dark Potato, of course, quite immobile as well. So honestly, even though Takuchi is very far extended, not necessarily at the greatest risk unless he walks too close and doesn't have the backup of the guard. In fact, he's thinking about going in even deeper with Dark Potato. Really close to going down. The Quiz Watson, he actually finds the kill. Fortified health does not come in quickly enough. Hundor can't get there in time to find a return kill, and Detonation managed to take down the turret. A very aggressive and effective push here. About 6 minutes in. Taduki, gotta be careful not to bounce into an even hotter fire there as Hunter was waiting in wings, getting ready to jump on top. He is trying to take the tree and the boat. The heal would be massive here. Keeping him in the fray. He is able to pick that one up. Dark Potato does not have a boots cooldown. Isn't going to be chasing this one anytime soon. Detonation get away scot-free there.
Yeah, one thing I have to point out is that whole engagement was that Detonation had their countdown for the entire time. They're not even worried because there we go.
Dora's got to be really careful. There is a fountain on top of him. Royal wants more, but he does not have the cooldown for Faint of Heart to really commit to that one. Plus backup. Kind of scared to keep pretty far away. I like the fact that Detonation is playing a very measured game here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of concern for G2 on this game right now. Because Tuki constantly Esports have found the Royal, Tuki, and Victors have been doing a fantastic job of forcing their opponents bounce on the cooldown while theirs is still up. So they constantly have the advantage, and there's no way G2 can really engage on them. And while that is good right now, DetonatioN still needs to make sure that they push their game forward. Otherwise, G2 could.
Looking at the item differentials here, key to note that it's almost a 20 CS difference between Dark Potato and Tatuki. Plus the turret gold, we're looking at a very big difference in those two junglers. And of course, everyone knows Rhyme needs a couple of items to really come online, whereas that pedal can be very effective with relatively few. As a result, we're just not seeing these fights be very even between DetonatioN and G2. Royal is also doing incredibly well, sitting on top of that Serpentine Mask.
So it really comes down to how much damage can Hundor and Tatuki do at range. If Hundor gets too close though, Royal is always there ready to jump off.
Alright, G2 Esports beginning to push up, perhaps more aggressively than they are maybe able to. They don't have a tier 1 turret to fall back to here. If Royal decides to commit, and with Tatuki on the flank, they just might do that, could be very dangerous. But Tatuki gets jumped on. Good flare out, spots him. Tatuki, he can't get away. Hundor nearly falls though. Royal, he's trying to jump off to the back line. Doesn't quite have the damage yet. Hundor doing the jump fighting. He walks into the gauntlet wall. He finds a kill. Royal is doing so much work right now for DetonatioN. 3 versus 2, and G2 still couldn't take him down. Dark Potato is no one. Oh, he gets away. What? What a turnaround from G2 Esports. The second pop of the Winter Spire annihilates Royal and turns that fight in G2's favor.
And I was just saying, Dragon's Eye was not a good pickup for Dark Potato. That was a fantastic time to have a Dragon's Eye. He was easy able to get maximum amounts of stacks because the enemy, Royal, Viviquiz, were just stacking on top of him. And he was just easily able to explode them once he got those stacks built up.
That was close, though, and it was closer than it should have probably been, considering how quickly and without, much return they were able to take down Tatuki. Even still, DetonatioN do have a 3,000 gold lead off the back of even that shutdown gold. They're still in the driver's seat, but G2 Esports is starting to make some progress. If they can get maybe one more item on their carry here, I do think they're in a position to make some serious progress in coming back into this game. Tatuki, you see he's jumping forward, being very aggressive, playing on the front lines, trying to edge and damage rate.
I think this is a good place to out the right now. If they fight out in the open, which I think actually has a huge advantage, G2 really relies on the fact that, is anything to happen right here? Gold
Might
line.
have a fight coming up. I just want to point out the Echo on Arden just picked up. We've also got Aegis on Royal. These are huge spikes that are going to be very impactful if G2 isn't careful. Hundor does have the infusion though. DetonatioN, they want this fight very badly, trying to tease it out of G2, trying to make them come a bit further out of position than they would like to. Royal, he's thinking about going in. You can see his trigger finger just hovering over that Faint of Heart. He wants to set up a fight. Yuki is looking for that Treant. I believe it did go the way of DetonatioN. slight edge for them heading into this one. Royal finds on point onto Hundor. But again, not quite able to commit to this one. Detonation backing away to the golden miner. What's GT Esports going to do? They've indicated their willingness to fight here, but they're not committing just yet. Finally making their moves back in. This might be the opportunity. Bright Bulwark pop. There's the arcane passage. He needs to get out of there. Good damage coming in. A nice fake out as well. Hundor backs away. Swaps focus onto Royal. Silence comes across. Not letting just split the fight a little bit. Great damage. Royal commits here. He can get that good Rose offensive onto 3 members. Potentially some solid damage. DetonatioN is still alive though. Hundor very healthy. He's looking to turn this one around. That's the fountain finally popped by DetonatioN. Good discipline on that by Viviquiz.
Yeah, it's going to be
on G2 either.
It's going to be a very nice situation. DetonatioN still wants to keep going. Yanu Nakoa will be able to get it down.
Again, this could be dicey. Hundor wants to turn though. He's so low, but he's got that reflex block. Hundor is not quite doing enough. Or is he? He does have good breaking point stacks. He's looking for the kill onto Royal. There's a sentry helping him. Royal is so low, but he doesn't go down. The sentry is not enough to back Hundor up. It's an ace for DetonatioN Gaming. That was, oh, so close.
That was so very close. DetonatioN even had the sentry backing him up. Royal, though, getting those breaking point stacks, relying on the lifesteal of the Serpent's Mask, able to finish off DetonatioN with just a sliver of health left.
This is indicative, though, that if DetonatioN lets this game go on for too long, it might get to a point where G2 Esports is slightly too strong for them. I mean, they've got Eve of Harvest on Dark Potato now. That's a big power spike. You saw it there. He's able to sustain much more effectively than he has in the past.
Yeah, this might be getting a little bit difficult for DetonatioN. They don't have a point of on Black Feather. They aren't going to be able to cut down the skilling of Dark Potato. So if Dark Potato really gets onto their backline, if he manages to stick onto the 2-team or the fight against Royal one-on-one, I don't think DetonatioN can win those fights. But if DetonatioN keeps taking fights as they have been, where they're just constantly poking out at G2, fighting out in the open where Dark Potato cannot land those Winter Spires, DetonatioN has a huge advantage.
Atlas Pauldron just picked up for Keanu Nakoa. That is, of course, a nice item here. Does slow down Royal a little bit from getting the damage he needs. Royal let's go for a reinfuse. We are 30 seconds out from the Kraken spawn. It's going to be a big point of contention. 2 teams. We have a bone saw on Hundor. It's an interesting item.
Yeah, it's actually a fairly good choice right now because Royal knows that DetonatioN is relying on him for the damage to come to him. He does a good amount right now, but come late game, he is just not going to be able to output the amount of damage that he needs to, especially because those minions will be able to be killed by Hundor fairly easily. But Royal will really be able to output a lot of damage, and he knows that G2 will play his defense against him. Hundor on the other side, he knows that he's also the carrier of his team. While Dark Potato does do a good thing on that damage, he is really just tanking for the front line. He's tanking as the front line with Keanu Nakoa healing him, making sure that Hundor can get all the damage that he needs to.
G2 Esports now have something new to worry about on the map in the form of that Kraken. It is an objective that DetonatioN might try and leverage to force their hand into an engagement early on, although G2 seems like maybe they want that coming in from the side here. Don't decide to fully commit though. Keep in mind, oh, there's going to be the arcane passage. Here comes that commitment. Hundor trying to get onto the carries, get some damage down, but he's standing quite far. So getting wiped out by Royal on the back line. Hundor needs to kite better. That's going to be a good heal, maybe enough. Royal goes down. Viviquiz could be the next target here for Hundor. A good route coming out from Dark Potato. Keeps him in range. Hundor wants more. Kind of hard for him to get any closer though. So far it's just going to be that trade of jungler for captain, a good one for G2 Esports. If they can find anything more off the back, Hundor doesn't know because it's there. He's going to be able to get in. Trying to steal away that trade for now. Doesn't find it though. Goes away to 2.
Yeah, absolutely. That fight was tested from G2. They were able to catch DetonatioN moving through their own jungle. DetonatioN, they tried to take a tree. They killed the crystal, but G2 just waiting there in the wing. The moment DetonatioN came past, they engaged.
Viviquiz might be looking to make the hero steal here. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off though. Hundor is doing some good damage right now. Be careful, make sure they get that Kraken. He does do it. Esports back away off the back of that. Not get the kill killing Kraken, but he did find a treant, and now Viviquiz being quite low is a liability here for Detonation if they decide to fight. That allows for G2 Esports to escort that Kraken relatively healthily up towards the lane. They got a lot of turrets to get through, so they do have an edge in the push.
I guess they still have a pretty solid lead, but this Kraken should go take down these two turrets. First one already going down. Detonation really looks like they're right here. I think they might have to.
The quiz is a little lower than I'm sure you'd like to. Edging in some damage. Detonation, where is their go? He probably a gauntlet, if I had to guess, maybe just waiting for the echo, which is up to 10 seconds. He wasn't sure would like to get the high impact off of that item, but buying a lot of time in just waiting for it. The GT Esports just down the turrets and this one late, particularly active. You can imagine the GT back away, having taken the turrets in that single push. Detonation, the cooldown wasn't quite there.
Yeah, and this is where the stakes really starts falling off. There's not really a good way for Tatuki to deal any sort of damage to Dr. Potato even is just sustaining against these minions. Tatuki just doesn't have enough damage coming out to really be a threat. It really is up to Royal to both take down Dark Potato and Hundor, but against Dark Potato it is almost impossible, and there's no reason for Dark Potato to move forward. As long as Hundor is able to sit in the backline and constantly dish out damage, you saw in the last few fights, his breaking stack points have gone absolutely insane. And he has been doing so much damage in every single one of these engagements.
I think for any team watching G2 Esports in the World Championship right now, a consideration has to go towards banning out the Vox. We saw it be very effective in the game they won against Kraken, and now again here against Detonation doing some serious work. Yes, he's 2-3-2. No, that's not the most impressive scoreline ever, but G2 are winning with a negative KDA right now. They are the ones with the greatest amount of map pressure. The goal difference does not tell the entire story. Detonation, they have an opportunity still, but the window is closing. They need to make sure they get in whilst it's still open.
Absolutely, and right now G2, they really have a big opportunity to, even if they decide not to engage, they don't need to. Detonation is the one that really just force a fight to happen. They really feel to catch G2 off guard and get a win somewhere. Because right now, if they just let G2 play their own game, there's no way that G2's going to lose.
With that recall coming in from Hundor, you see Detonation were teasing with the idea of trying to make something aggressive happen. He's not going to, though, as now Hundor comes back, reloaded and ready to go. Boyle tries to get that damage down. Here comes the gauntlet. Dark Potato is incredibly low. Is it going to be enough, though? Lots of damage coming in. First one to fall is Viviquiz. Can Boyle get out of here? Hundor really wants the kill. He finds it. Tatuki is quite healthy, but he's in the 1 versus 3. He needs to do a miracle in order to pull this fight back into his favor. Hundor is relentless in his pursuit. The roots were there. The treant root not going to land, though. That's probably the nail in the coffin for Tatuki as the bulwark goes down. He is very close to falling. Oh, man, he is not getting out of there. It's going to be the ace for G2 Esports. Probably a Kraken off the back of that as well. An incredibly convincing fight, one that I think Detonation's unlikely to come back from in this game.
Yeah, Keanu, that was a beautiful arcane passage. I just gotta say, that was just put it right in front of Tuki. He was forced to walk into it or turn around, in which case he would have died anyway. So it's fantastically played by Keanu right there. But that's exactly what I was talking about. Detonation, they had to force the fight. They did. It is too late now. G2 has already scaled to the point where Hundor is virtually untouchable, Dark Potato is unkillable, and Keanu Nakoa, he doesn't really have to do much. He just needs to sit back, and let his team do the work.
Yeah, Dark Potato at this point able to just solo out the Kraken whilst Hundor plays gatekeeper for Detonation's ability to contest. You saw Hundor 1v1ing Royal there and basically taking no damage. It's getting to a point where, Detonation would need a massive misplay to come back into this game. G2 Esports not showing that they have a propensity to do that, at least right now. We'll have to see, though. Anyone can make a mistake, especially under the pressure of the world stage. If G2 wins this game, as a reminder for you guys at home, they will be advancing to Day 2. Europe will be advancing to Day 2. Their only representative, the pride of the region. Here comes the fight, though. Detonation does not want that to happen. Hundor is quite low right off the bat here. He's struggling to kite around. He's got to worry about that gauntlet, which is keeping him in place, but he is getting good damage on Tatuki. Can he find the kill? Hunter is the first to fall. Royal is making it happen. There's not enough damage from Dark Potato to turn it. Or can he find Royal? He just about does. Tuki, he's not going to be able to get away. A great arcane passage keeps him in the fight. Dark Potato on one side, Keanu on the other. He's already burned the trampoline. If Dark Potato could just keep him away from the base, Kraken might do all the work that he needs to. And in fact, Tuki, oh, is he going to live? No way, he's not going to. Detonation, this is it. They are out of world with this G2 win, and Europe makes it to day number 2.
Yeah, that was absolutely textbook play coming out from G2. Hundor, the Detonation spent so much effort to take him down. He did eventually die, but by that point, Dark Tail, 9 stacks on that Dragon's Eye, he was just a force to be reckoned with. There is nothing Detonation can do.
Incredible performance from G2 Esports. They have got to be feeling ecstatic, having become the first European team in the history of worlds, I believe, to make it to day number 2. Very impressive stuff. On the other side of the coin here, Detonation, I'm sure that it feels a little bit rough losing in this position. They've still got a chance to play for some pride here. If they can take one more game off of G2, it keeps G2 firmly in the 2nd seed for the group. If G2 wins the next game, they get to go for a rematch against Kraken, maybe play for that 1st seed.
Absolutely. I believe Detonation really wants to play that spoiler right now. They need to prove, they want to prove that they are as good as any other team right here. And even though G2 did take this game off of them, Detonation still played an absolutely fantastic early game. Their mid game was solid. It just came down to the end. They weren't able to close it quite fast enough, and G2 with their signature Vox play was just a little bit too much.
Yeah, actually, Detonation getting to play Kingmaker and Kingbreaker in this series. It's only a best of 2. They only need to give up one game. If they can avoid giving up a second, it'll be certainly a statement about the region. Detonation trying very hard to make this work, but it just doesn't quite pan out. Heading into game number 2, let's reset our impressions here. Let's try and think about what Detonation needs to do to make this happen. I personally think Vox ban has got to come through. It's been key to victory for the side of G2 Esports in both of their wins.
Yeah, I think it's either a Vox ban or Detonation just has to change up their own draft. I think the Pale pick was a pretty big mistake coming into that Rhyme, because once G2 had that Rhyme pick on their side, Detonation, they really needed a way to finish off that Vox. Blackfeather by himself is just not enough, especially when Rhyme, all he has to do, he just sits on top of Vox the entire game. And Blackfeather, when he jumps in, there's nothing he can do. He will get immediately locked down, or he just has 2 heroes being on him. And Pell just doesn't deal enough damage at range to really be able to trade poking with that Vox.
Yeah, it's interesting. What sort of pick would you have gone for instead of the Petal in that last game? What would have been the crux of the composition needed by the side of Detonation?
I still think a Taka would have been absolutely fantastic. A Crystal Taka paired with a weapon Blackfire would have put a lot of pressure onto Vox, to the point where even though he had that Rhyme with him, even though he had that Lyra with him, 2 assassins jumping on you is pretty rough.
Yeah. That is a good point. I don't think it would have been very easy for him to survive that situation. On the side of G2, is there anything you'd like to see them tighten up in their gameplay? At this point, they've guaranteed themselves into day number 2. They need to start ironing out any kinks that they have, trying to figure out how they can improve. They're going to have harder and harder games from here on out. I would say probably that they need to be a little wary in the mid-game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think even their early game was a little bit rough this time around. They were able to get a pretty big advantage later on, but they were down, what, 9,000 gold at one point? And that is not a gold difference that you want to see at any point in the game.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, they were losing up until the point they won, pretty much.
Pretty much.
And that's something which does happen when you have a composition which is designed to scale a little bit better and take longer to ramp up, but the extent to which that is happening is pretty telling of how you're performing earlier in the game. I think, so, Vox ban, definitely something I think teams should take away against G2. What are some other pointers that you work. Detonation really need a comprehensive strategy here. G2 Esports with the opportunity to pick kind of the perfect captain into things. What is going to be the most disruptive captain they could pick is kind of the question G2 is going to be thinking about heading into their final lock-in. Detonation needs to marginalize the risk of a silver bullet team. Samuel as a lock. I actually quite like Samuel.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that one, but it does make a little bit of sense given what we've said so far.
Yeah, this is actually a very common setup for teams in EA. Samuel plus Lyra is incredibly hard to take down. The amount of healing that comes out from both Samuel's Drifting Dark and his heroic perk, plus the Lyra healing on top of that, makes him incredibly hard to take out. That being said, it also means that Blackfeather will not have as easy a time diving in on that carry. But it really comes down to, what will Detonation pick alongside that to really complement this? Because they still want to prevent Vox from going out of control.
It's interesting, actually. I was talking to some of the other casters on our rehearsal day, and they said, you know what? If anyone gives over Lyra Samuel to an East Asian team, they deserve to lose. And
Yep.
Detonation is an East Asian team, so we'll have to see if that actually comes true. A Lance lock-in. I'm guessing then that this is a jungle Lance and a lane Samuel? Or could it be the other way around?
I would expect it to be a jungle Lance. While Samuel in the jungle is fairly effective and clears very quickly, Lance in the lane will have a fairly rough time, especially against this team composition. They can kind of go either way.
Finn doesn't really provide so much of a threat in the early phases of the game to either the jungler or the laner, so long as you're playing around him properly. So I definitely think that they could go either direction. But which one is going to be the most effective? Who do they need to snowball, I guess, the most?
I think
is
having
a
Samuel
better
go ahead
question.
and take the lane would
Yeah.
be a little bit more effective. They need the gold on him just so that he becomes that hyper carry in the late game. He really needs to be able to be tanky enough to deal with both Blackfeather, and he'll do enough damage to get to the box.
Yeah, I think it's means to an end, right? Like, if you're putting Lance in the lane, you're doing so maybe to snowball a little bit earlier, but you're doing that to the end being Samuel getting strong later because you snowballed early. So might as well just cut out the middleman and put Samuel in the lane. That's what I would do at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's actually a very interesting pickup because having that Lance really it means that Detonation is able to keep G2 inside that Drifting Dark when it is cast. So Samuel will be going to be able to do a little bit more damage, and it'll sustain a little bit more because the more targets are inside the Drifting Dark, the more healing he gets.
Yeah, and this is quite a resilient team overall coming in from the side of Detonation. They have strong inherent healing on the Samuel and the Lyra, but they also have just a very burly dude in the form of Lance. So he's going to be able to really buy a lot of time for that sustain to come in. I think they've got something good going on here. The question is, how can they capitalize on it to make the plays they need to happen?
Right. The biggest thing that they have to do is ensure that Samuel is able to do damage from afar and really force G2 to pick their engages, because the moment Blackfeather jumps in, Brightbork will come out, and Lance is just going to completely lock up Blackfeather, get the maul him away, and it's going to be incredibly hard to close in on that Samuel. So Blackfeather is actually a little bit of a weaker pick in this situation. That being said, Crystal Blackfeather is definitely a thing, so we might just see a lot of poking going on.
How much does Finn interrupt the sort of plan of Detonation, though? Because you can kind of siege break if Detonation is trying to play slow, poke from range. You have a forced accord that can force the issue. But on top of that, Lance can't keep Finn away. He can't do what he needs to do necessarily to protect the carries in the same way. And in the late game, we all know what Finn can do. It's pretty scary.
Absolutely. And I really think this is going to be very telling. How much synergy does G2 have? If they can combo wait for it along with the Force Accord, that combo of Vox and Finn is going to be absolutely devastating. If they can't, it will be a little bit rougher for them.
If they're, really on the ball, you can always use the silence, expecting it gets crucibled, and then there's no crucible for the Forced Accord, too. So if you don't stack them, it might work out well for you also. Guys, this is Game 2 of Detonation and G2 Esports. A win from Detonation guarantees that we have Kraken coming out as first seed and G2 coming out as second seed. But if G2 Esports wins here, there will be a tiebreaker to determine whether G2 Esports and Kraken is in fact the first seed. Obviously, G2 Esports definitely wanting that one to happen. Let's see if it will. The Quiz unable to steal away that Treant. You see Dark Potato picking that one up early on. Yet again, very early 3 versus 3 in the jungle from these two teams.
Yeah, I actually really like the way that G2 set that up. Keanu on that Finn is going to be incredibly effective at dealing damage to Lucas. The base damage that Finn has on his base attack is actually incredibly high compared to most other heroes. However, Viviquiz trying to put a little bit more aggression, trying to steal out that Treant, definitely delayed the carry and the jungler of G2 Esports.
Alright, G2 Esports, they do have to be careful of these rotations coming in from Detonation. Lance can make plays happen that really shut down G2, and Hundor is not careful. But so far, they're doing a good job of dodging this out. We do now see the formation Detonation has gone for, with Royal on the Samuel and Tuki on the Lance. Should be interesting to see whether or not they're able to really capitalize on that.
Absolutely. Right now, Detonation is definitely pushing G2 out of lane just a little bit, knocking 100 the opportunity to go shot. But they are both going to back off right here. However, Samuel is extremely effective in the other game just because the amount of stain he has coming out from his heroic perk makes it so that he doesn't really have to worry about trying to heal up. He doesn't really have to worry about backing. As long as he's able to hit things, he'll be fine.
Yeah, a lot of the damage that Hundor is able to do in trades early on is kind of incidental. You know, it's just a bounce here or there from the Vox perk. And as a result, just the base amount of sustain is good enough here. Oh, Dark Potato, he is in a bad position right now, needs to get out of here. Already burned those boots, still taking a tremendous amount of damage to Tuki with the slam down, picks up first blood. No reaction from Hundor, doesn't even try and go down to help out his teammates, focused entirely on farming up. Is going to get a good amount of damage on Royal here. Look at this, Tuki annihilates the back camps of G2. This is how snowballs begin to form. This is the top of the mountain.
Absolutely, and right now Detonation really wants to win this game for the pride. And right now G2, they are taking out Tuki, but I don't think they're going to do too much damage right now.
I'm not sure this is a fight that G2 necessarily wants. They are in a choke point. Tuki has Githyan Wall available, but it looks like he misses that impale. That could be a big opportunity.
Yeah,
Janu, though, very low on health, tries to get that polite company to keep himself alive. Doesn't happen. Detonation turn and burn G2 Esports. We're at 2 kills by 3 minutes. Look at how aggressive Detonation is being. This is the way you play when you have nothing to lose left in this tournament. This is their last chance to go out with a bang.
Absolutely, and right there, Tuki trying to go for a kill on Dark Potato. And this is a fantastic composition for it because Nance putting a lot of aggression down early. If he lands that impale, it just absolutely eviscerates someone's health. And right now, they're seeing if they can steal another camp away.
Oh man!
Dark Potato,
that's some good damage. Does have the Treant heal, though. Tuki sped up. 1 or 2 more attacks will do it. It's 3-0 at 4 minutes here. Detonation keeping the pain train rolling. Viviquiz got to be careful, however, as Hundor begins to chase. There's a sentry as well. Polite company keeping things going here. Detonation have been able to kite back to the bush. Tuki finds himself a Treant to nom on as well. It's going to keep him sustained up and healthy. And G2 Esports wasted a tremendous amount of time trying to find themselves a pick there. Look at Hundor's CS sitting at 39. Yeah, it's better than Royals, but it could be way higher had he just gotten 2 waves instead of chasing there.
Absolutely, and right now Vivica is coming out with the early Crucible. His healing is going to be off the charts. That's actually a very fantastic build for Lyra, just skipping over the fountain and using Crucible because it does give more health, allowing that Imperial Sigil just to do that much more. I actually love this competition coming out from Detonation, and you can see exactly why teams are so fearful of giving over the Samuel and Lyra to
Yeah, it's too bad maybe that Detonation didn't make something like this in game number 1. They're showing a great deal more confidence, I think, in what they're playing this time around.
Oh no!
Oh, Hundor absolutely annihilated. Silence comes through on Akiano as well. He's trying to get out of there. Flight Company buys a bit of time. Is it going to be enough, though? With that Drifting Dark, the damage is there. Another kill now is Tuki. Maybe thinking about diving onto Dark Potato here. The Impale not quite going to connect, though. Dark Potato unable to make it happen. Tuki wanted more combat roll, putting him in position to try and make it happen. Doesn't quite get there. One turret already taken out by Detonation Gaming. Tuki. Oh, Hundor. I like that play, though. You gotta have some serious cojones to jump into your enemy team to dodge a skill in the heat of the moment there. Look at how much damage Tuki's doing, though. It's one Githyan Wall.
Yep, it is
wiped out.
absolutely crazy. The amount of damage Tuki is dealing right now, he has that Starlight. He's going to be dealing up a lot more damage in the coming few minutes, but one thing to worry about for that weapon lance is that come late game, come mid game even, the moment his opponents start building a little bit of armor against him, his damage dramatically falls off. He doesn't have the attack speed. He doesn't have a huge amount of scaling. If he gets a huge lead early on, he can definitely push it toward a victory. However, he does have to be very wary of the fact that if G2 starts building up a little bit of armor against him, he's not going to be doing that much damage.
Dark Potato very low, trying to defend this turret. You can see the pressure through Detonation mounting as they go for more objectives. Very, very difficult for G2 to keep holding here. The siege potential of the Samuel actually the thing, more so than anything else, that's really shining about the pick right now. It's making it so that G2 has to do something right now or they're just going to lose so much more.
Oh my goodness!
No, what? Tatuki, you are a absolute beast. He picks up 2 kills. Viviquiz goes in for the ace. G2, I mean, they looked a bit shaky in game number 1. They looked a bit shaky in their games against Kraken. This game, they look like a team that I wouldn't have expected against G2. Detonation are just crushing.
I think this is really down to Tuki. Tuki is doing such a fantastic job of landing some kills. The amount of damage is 481 right there. 1 impale. Completely chunked out Dark Potato. He lost a third of his health off of one ability. It's absolutely crazy.
Alright, Detonation, they are pulling back now to take control of the jungle. You can see crazy heals coming out of Viviquiz's Lyra. It's almost like, you know, Detonation don't need to back off, really. So long as Viviquiz has energy, the push can keep going.
Absolutely right now. And Detonation, he actually picks up the Tension Bow, which is actually a fairly good choice because he knows G2 has to build armor against him at some point. If they don't, he's just going to do crazy amounts of damage. And that Tension Bow on top of it, his burst is just going to be that much higher. He'll be doing fairly reliable damage every couple seconds. If he can land those impales, he can probably 2-shot people.
Yeah, Tatuki is just, I mean, G2 doesn't have a good answer to it right now. You know, it doesn't really matter how much armor you build unless you can build a full jack. You know, like that's the point at which it matters how much armor you have. And it's not going to happen anytime soon. Tatuki wants more. Looks at Dark Potato. That's the impale. Hunter on the backline is trying to maybe make a turnaround happen. Royal is very low. Hunter staying admirably well topped off during this fight, but Royal is able to pick up that 1 kill. Hunter still wants more. He's got a lot of breaking point stacks right now. Detonation actually needs to be careful. They're having to back away. Tatuki is extremely low. Royal has got energy, but Viviquiz does not. There's no good heal that can come in. Hunter!
Oh my goodness!
Oh, what? Hunter! Oh, man, that can't feel good. That cannot feel good.
That was an impale, a basic attack, and a getting wall, and Hunter was gone. I don't think he at all expected that damage to come out. Tatuki was left with just a sliver of health. Literally 1 or 2 basic attacks would have killed him. But Hunter jumping over the wall, a little bit over-aggressive, instantly got taken out.
Man, this is crazy. Tatuki laying down the pain. That is the first kill on the board for G2 Esports, though. That fight was perhaps the beginning of some kind of comeback. You can see that Hunter, if he's able to kind of navigate his way around the fight safely, does do a respectable amount of damage right now. Does have the ability to really lay down some hurt. He's farming quite well, 20 above his counterpart in Royal. And actually, the only person he really needs to worry about is Tatuki. He's got an Aegis. He's got good defense against what Royal is bringing to the table, and Royal is underpowered right now.
Yeah, Dark Potato is actually going for the Aftershock build on that Black Feather. He is fairly far behind, 29 to get to his name, and 4 deaths at the moment. Tatuki though coming in, jumping on G2, really going to do a lot of damage. That
He's taking a lot of pain on the front line. Gotta be careful. Royal is able to kite back, though. Drifting Dark saved for this moment as the turnaround comes in. Hunter wants to try and get onto that captain, but Keanu so close to dying. He's not going to be the first one to fall, though. Tatuki likely to go second. Royal is full health, full energy, but still has to be scared right now. It's very dicey up against that Dark Potato. Trying and move in, get the hunt down. Royal so close to falling. He's not quite going to. Oh! That was insanely close. G2 Esports out of nowhere have come back into this game. A little bit of, I think, a lack of synergy in that fight. Detonation did not commit altogether.
Yeah, a little bit of lack of coordination right there for Detonation. Tatuki jumping in. He was able to do a ton of damage. However, he was not falling with this team. If he peels for Royal, Royal at this moment is incredibly strong. He has a Shaggy, he has a Clockwork, he has a little bit of piercing, and all I can find on Samuel, if he gets to use putting that Clockwork to use with that Drifting Dark makes him so incredibly effective because he's constantly able to throw those Drifting Dark clouds out, and he'll almost never have to worry about his golden armor.
I feel like if Royal got into that fight just a little bit sooner, maybe Detonation has a more convincing performance there. It is getting to the point where Tatuki just being this nuke isn't doing enough. You know, there's enough defense on the side of G2, I guess, that they're able to weather the storm. And the setup is not happening fast enough either. You know, they're not capitalizing on the stun necessarily with like an Oblivion or some kind of follow-up damage. This is perhaps G2 showing again that they can weather the storm and come back. That's what they did against Crack in Game 1.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing is that Nation really has to feel that their weak position has changed. They need to protect Royal as opposed to like
Hundor is in a dicey position right now, though. Look at this flank from Royal doing so much work. Fountain forced to be used by G2 Esports as they back away. Keep in mind that there's still some very easy to pick up turrets available here, and they want them. Detonation Gaming does find the inner. That means that these Vein Crystal turrets are the last standing for the side of G2 Esports, and this does change the equation a little bit. Much easier to siege onto these set up over a wider range. It makes it hard for G2 maybe to initiate. Let's see if they can do something near the sentry, though. Johnny has to.
Oh, that was an interesting counter. He Crucible and he actually Royal immediately threw the Oblivion out, so it would have forced. And he knows, Kiana Nakoa, he doesn't have a Crucible right now. So if he does catch Hundor or he catches Dark Potato, then that engagement is completely moot. But it's really it's still up to Detonation. They have to realize their weakness has changed. They don't need to let Tatuki explode the members of G2. Instead, if he protects Royal, Royal's damage output right now is absolutely crazy. He's able to constantly use those Drifting Dark Clouds. He's constantly able to throw out those Malice and Verdicts. As long as they're empowered, the amount of damage that he's dealing will completely outclass Hundor and Dark Potato.
Dark Potato now does have a broken myth too, though, which means that some of these longer fights, which we have been seeing in situations where Hundor has been left alive, for example, for quite some time, he will start to deal more respectable damage. He wants to set something up, though. He doesn't want to wait. That's a root onto Dark Potato, a stun into the wall, the sleep as well. So much coming through onto the side of G2 Esports. Tatuki is alive as well due to that fountain coming across. Dark Potato is going to force Royal back, though. That means he can't get in position to land the damage, kill Keanu, or perhaps get onto Hundor. Buys a lot of time here for G2 Esports to reposition, maybe set up again, go for maybe a heal back on the platform. G2 Esports has bought enough time. The Detonation has to fall back to think about their next fight.
Yeah, Hundor is getting quite strong. He has a break point. He's starting to build up his second time in Climax, but he already has the Aegis. So Royal, while he does a lot of damage, he does have the broken mist. He's still able to cut through a lot of that shield. Hundor is going to start hurting quite a bit. And right now, as Tatuki really needs to focus on peeling for Royal. Royal, as long as he throws his Drifting Darks in positions where G2 is not able to really capitalize on his positioning, Detonation still has a very large lead in this game.
They do indeed, but you got to be able to keep capitalizing on it. And it does feel like Detonation is perhaps running out of steam a little bit. They came into this game off the back of that probably extremely demoralizing loss, out of World Championship on day one. But they were like, all right, we got nothing to lose. Let's play for this. Now that they're slowing down, maybe their motivation to keep going is also that here comes another fight. Detonation wants to make something happen here. Quiz tried to jump on the back line. Did not have the backup of the team, though. Oblivion, not going to do much. Just silences Keanu Matilla. That's all it can pull out. Quiz still alive somehow. Good jukes. Stops Dark Potato, and Royal has insane damage right now. Keanu's got a body block. Hundor the main target. He's actually going to jump in. He wants Royal, but he can't quite get there. Oh, the root's insane from Tatuki. That's going to be a triple kill coming in, an ace for Detonation Gaming. And now with Kraken on the map, they've got the ingredients they need to make this a game win.
Yeah, Tatuki coming in at just the right time to save his teammates. Royal was so incredibly low. If Dark Potato had gotten a Fatal Heart off, if he had gotten anything off, another on point, another Rose offensive, Royal would have been completely dead. And they would not have the advantage they do now. In fact, I feel like Tuki in that fight played almost flawlessly. He was able to pressure Hundor, he was able to pressure Keanu, forcing him to stay with Hundor, and he was still able to come back and save his teammates.
Very impressive stuff. Also good by Royal. I mean, if he'd waited even a millisecond more to bail on that fight and get into the brush out of vision range, you know, it would not have been that hard for Dark Potato just to click the Feint of Heart, but it couldn't quite happen. Now with Kraken helping them push in, this is an anchor point that DetonatioN can rotate around, play with as an element of their positioning to give Royal what he needs to make the plays happen. Force support already burned out. Reed comes across. That's going to be the stun as well. Dark Potato needs to get out of there. One charge for defensive already burned. Tuki's on the back line. He's looking at that. Gideon, well, look at the way he's positioning right now. Finds himself a double stun. Royal splashes the damage in. G2 are already so low. Kraken's coming into the base. It's full health. Hundor has to get out of there. A fountain was forced before they even healed up on the platform. DetonatioN, yes, they are a little bit low right now, but maybe they can make it happen. Oblivion coming through, buys time for Tuki to get out of there. Hundor, he wants to set something up. Royal is pretty low on energy. There's still a chance that G2 can defend, but they've got to deal with this Kraken on the turret as well. There's so much going on. They can't be everywhere all at once. Royal just needs to buy time right now. Drifting Dark is going to make that easier. Lots of damage coming through from the carry of DetonatioN Gaming. He wants to put Japan on the map here, find a win for the team before this tournament is over. The Kraken is on the Vein Crystal. That's another kill. DetonatioN Gaming deny G2 Esports the tiebreaker. He
Back advances it!
Do it! Kraken survives, and the series ends 1-1. G2 does move forward, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2. But DetonatioN showed up in the last chance they had and put a win on the board.
Yeah, that was an absolutely dominant victory coming out from DetonatioN. They might not have gotten with a completely clean game, but they were able to really show what they were made of. That aggression coming out from the Lance early on to Tuki just did such good work for his team. Constantly being able to get out kills, constantly peeling for his teammates at the right times in the late game. And, I don't know, G2, they looked very shaky in that matchup. It's going to be very interesting to see how they perform in the next day.
I think there's a gaping hole that a lot of people are going to be looking to exploit, which is the early and mid game of G2. They're going to have to tighten that up for day number 2. It's going to be a tough battle. They do not have the opportunity to come out of this group as first seed. That tiebreaker was denied them, but still an impressive performance from Europe and G2 Esports, who are moving on with Kraken from this group to day number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been great casting for you here on the alternate stream. That was our final matchup, so we'll see you tomorrow for more Vainglory Worlds action, and you can also go check out the main stream, which I believe is still going, if you want more right now.